Hi, Devlin here. I'm about to take a walk down memory lane. Why don't you join me? I'm a big fan of drive-in movie theaters. I always have been, ever since my brother took me when I was a little kid. I just became obsessed with them. If you come into my living room, you'll actually see an original drive-in speaker, one of those big clunky metal ones that we used in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s before the radio was used. You'd always have to gently put it on your car window so that when you slammed the door, you didn't smash the metal to the glass. Yeah, it took me forever to find one, but I finally got one. I asked you to come watch movies with me, say a double bill, don't be surprised if I don't try to slip in some cartoons or trailers or some of those, drive-in intermissions. Let's go out to the lobby. I've always loved the drive-in. It is just a magical memory for me. And it's funny, because over the years I've heard some weird discrepancies happen. Some people tell me that drive-ins are almost obsolete. And then I read articles about how drive-ins are actually kind of making a bit of a comeback and are actually quite popular in the areas that there are. It's just there's so minimal of them. That's why they don't get a lot of customers. But the ones in neighborhoods are doing pretty well. That's why this year it's been kind of weird with this pandemic that drive-ins have actually become huge again. And the reason why is because as movie theaters are still not open or slowly opening, drive-ins have been available to open because they're open air concepts. You sit in your car and you don't even have to go to the concession stand or anything. So for me, it's been exciting to see drive-ins getting some love again. And for the people who regularly, constantly go to the drive-in, you know the magic of it. But there's new people who are just, itching to get out of the house that are like, okay, let's go and try one of these drive-ins out. And they're seeing the nostalgic factor for the first time. And at the theater, I have a drive-in theater about 10 minutes away from me, and they've been showing some indie horror films. They've been showing some of the blockbusters like Bad Boys or Sonic the Hedgehog, movies that, were in theaters before the pandemic started. But they've also been showing great retro classics, movies like Jaws and Jurassic Park and Grease and Back to the Future, Dirty Dancing, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, The Goonies, E.T., Gremlins. It's just been wild because it adds a little more magic to be watching some vintage stuff. Now, I'm the first one to say that drive-ins are probably one of the worst places to actually see a movie. As in watching, if you're actually going to watch a movie, because dark scenes, if it's not dark enough, it kind of gets lost in the wall and stuff. But it's the atmosphere to me. I've actually shared this experience lately with my nephew Jonathan for about, I'd say, 10 years or so. He's been coming to visit me, and I've always shared my love of the drive-in. When he actually found out that I lived this close, but I haven't been going, every year he makes it an effort to drive down and take me to the drive-in. And we have a great time. I always recommend people getting there early because, one, you get a good seat. You get to get the seat you want. And when I say seat, you're sitting in your car, but you get the spot you want. And you can always get your concessions really early. I know people sneak them in, and that's fine if that's your thing. For me, I always say a lot of these drive-ins are mom and pop theaters, so I am always like, if you can go and afford to pay for it. Obviously, if you have a gigantic family, you can't do that. But if you can, support your concession stand because they don't make a lot of money, and that's where they make most of their money. But I always tell them to get there early because the chats you have before the movie starts are just magical. And the fresh air and maybe a little bit of music playing in the back beforehand, it's just a wonderful experience. Now, I don't know, because of the pandemic, there's a lot of limitations, but you can even have people playing frisbee off to the side or getting their chairs out sitting, or there's usually a play area for kids. Now, that may not be available during the pandemic, but What I'm hoping is that maybe when things get back to normal, hopefully, that people who gave it a try will still love it and will still go back. And then they can see it even more. But to me, this has been a bittersweet thing because, yeah, we've lost a lot of stuff. But the fact that the drive-in movie theater is one of the things that we got back is a good thing. As a movie fan, I'm a little nervous, and I will talk in future video memory lanes like this about the future of going to the movies, because I'm a little nervous, because before the pandemic, people were slowly not going and watching streaming stuff. But now, even with movie theaters being able to start opening slowly, will people want to come back? It scares me to think we might lose the movie-going experience, but as I said, I'll talk about that in another memory lane. For now, if you haven't been to the drive-in this summer, maybe you should. And maybe I should, because I haven't gone yet. But I can't wait till my nephew comes and takes me again. And give it a shot. See what you think. Of course, in your comfort zone. I don't want to force anybody out of the house before they're ready. But I hope people see the drive-in as beautifully as I do. The magic, the mysticalness of it. I just can't stop talking about it. So that in mind, I think I might go make some popcorn and maybe put on an old drive-in classic. Thanks for joining me on Memory Lane, and I'll talk to you very soon.